Hi all, welcome to Diversified Finance. My name is Lakal. This is a quick update regards to Nasdaq and the Bitcoin price chart. In my previous video, I mentioned that Nasdaq has broken a key support area. So this is what has happened so far. This is the Nasdaq. Uh, so we've seen like a bit of a uptrend, and then we made like a all-time highs somewhere near 16,200, and then we had a bit of a correction, went back up, uh, another correction. It was trying to break above all-time highs, failed, and then we see like a bigger correction towards downside. And since then, we've seen a bit of a consolidation for Nasdaq, but unfortunately, as you can see here, it made a double top right there. So this is kind of bearish. So it consolidated in this area, which is a good thing, but it was trying to go, made a high and then made a higher low, right? And then it was trying to make a higher high, but it failed. And then uh, what is not looking good at the moment, this is the previous low, right? So this line right here, uh, this is the previous low. That's the previous low. So unfortunately, it broke the previous low, and on the close of Friday, it made a lower low compared to previous low. So this is not a good sign. So we might see on Monday it'll try to come back. uh, this could be a fake out, right? It could turn back around and could go above this line and then could go a lot higher, but we have to wait and see for that. Or it could come back down and try to retest and get rejected, and it could go lower. And if it goes lower, below this trend line right here, which is the previous low, if it goes below this low like 13,350 or 45 to 50 range, then things are not, things could get even worse, could get ugly, right? We might see further downside, uh, you know and then if that happens, so this is the Nasdaq chart. It's not going to be good for Bitcoin, right? When the Nasdaq and traditional markets, they correlated, when they go down, it tends to drag Bitcoin down with it. So that's what's happening with Nasdaq. So let's go back to, let's have a look at Bitcoin price action. So this is Bitcoin is uh, holding up fairly well compared to Nasdaq, but we just want to make sure that it won't go below like 41,000. Like the worst come to worst, 40K. It has to stay above 40K. If Nasdaq keeps on dropping, and then if it drags Bitcoin down with it, and if it breaks below 40K, there's a chance that we could go to 30K, right? So these are really strong support levels, right? So once they break them, the next support line could be like the psychological round kind of a number, which is like 30K. So I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure. Yes, we were expecting Bitcoin to go above 50,000 and consolidate for some time, and then we might see a bigger correction, right, down towards a 200 weekly moving average. So if you look at the 200-day moving average, so it's somewhere, oh, it's in white. Okay, hold on a sec. Let me just change the color. Let me just go back to switch off dark mode. Okay, so this is where the 200-day moving average for Bitcoin, which is at somewhere near 49,300. It's slightly dropping. Whenever we are below 200-day moving average, right, and weekly 21 weekly moving average. So let's go here, and I think I have to change this to 21. So this is the 21-week moving average. So 21-week moving average is somewhere near 50,600 or so, 650. So when Bitcoin is below 200-day moving average, and when it's also below 21-week moving average, we consider it's a bear market, right? And as you can see, this candle is not looking good. Like, it's it has like a long wick, and then that means price was trying to go above. uh, this candle is not finished yet, like it's probably closing probably tomorrow. But if it's gonna go below, like, the way it's looking right now is not good, because it has a long wick. That means there's a lot of sell pressure. Bitcoin was trying to go above 45,000 and it failed, and then there's a lot of sell pressure. So this is not a good looking candle either, right? So if we see further downside for Nasdaq, it'll drag Bitcoin down with it, and Bitcoin has to hold 40K. So going back to what I mentioned earlier, so our plan is to expect Bitcoin to go above 50K, and all coins to go crazy when Bitcoin is about 200-day and 21-week moving average. So that was our expectation. But let's not forget, right? There's news about Russia gonna have a war with Ukraine, and then there's the inflation is the highest since 1982, like from 40 years. So looks like Federal Reserve, like mentioned, that they're gonna increase interest rate maybe 5 times or 6 times likewise. So these are not really, market doesn't like this sort of news, right? They don't want to see interest rate go up higher. Eventually it's a good thing for the economy, but even first time when market hears about interest rate hikes, they would not like it. That's why we have seen a sell off. And on top of that, if we see like a war between Russia and Ukraine, we might see further downside for traditional markets and then for Bitcoin as well. So I'm still gonna stick to what I said earlier. If we about this, luckily, if there's no war, and if the Federal Reserve not gonna be harsh on hiking interest rates, we might see it goes above 50,000 and consolidate somewhere over there before we see like a bigger capitulation kind of event towards 200 weekly moving average. So let's have a look at where 200 weekly moving average at the moment. Let's go here. 200. Yeah, so 200-day moving average right now, this white line right here, it's somewhere near 19K. Oh, hold on. Yeah, about 19,000. Let's say 20K, somewhere near 20K. So I'm not saying it's going to go there, but in the past, we've seen during like capitulation events, like for example, let's say, do I have enough data here? On this one, okay, I need to switch for a different Bitcoin chart. So let's go down and find a chart that has more data. Hold on. BTC, not there. Yeah, here with this one. Okay, so this one, yeah. So this is the weekly chart. So we have more data on this one. There's a reason why I'm saying, like, let's be cautious, right? Because in the past we've seen this happen like many times, and given that we haven't retested a 200 weekly moving average, there's a possibility it could go there. Let's be cautious. I'm not saying it's going to go there. So okay, so for example, this is the Bitcoin chart. 2017, from 2017 to about 2020. So what we've seen, Bitcoin pumped so high, like up to like 20K, dropped back down to this 200 weekly moving average, right? All the way back there from 20K to $3,000. Went back higher, right? And up to like 14,000 and dropped back down to like 6,000, and started going back up higher, right? It looked as if we are ready for like a massive bull run at that time, right? And then all of a sudden we've seen a COVID, the COVID dump, right? And again it dropped back down to 200-week moving average 200 weekly moving average. Actually this one dropped all the way to 300 weekly moving average, so it's like a once in a 200-year event. So that was harsh. Because of that it dropped a lot actually. um, okay, so let's look at the 300-day moving average. Yeah, so as you can see, it's exactly dropped to 300 weekly moving average, right? But I'm not expecting it's going to go that low for now. So we can forget about the 300 weekly moving average. And if you look at it right now, it's somewhere near 14K. So I don't think it's going to go that low. But if, right, our expectation is Bitcoin to go to like 50,000 and stay there. But if there's like some bad news, like some unexpected event, something like war, like Russia going to start a war with Ukraine or something similar to that, there's a chance that Bitcoin come back and retest 200 weekly moving average. And given that last time we tested 200 weekly moving average was in 2020 March, it's a high probability it could come back down there, right? Eventually, like even when Bitcoin goes to 50K, let's say we're not going to have a correction, let's say it's going to go to 50K, I do still expect Bitcoin will come back and retest 200 weekly moving average. But maybe from few months from now, this 200 weekly moving average could be somewhere near 25K. So it could go to 50,000 and stay there for some time, and then after that it could have like a 50% correction back down to 200-day moving average, which is like 25K. And that gives me like a more probability, like that gives us more probability to see 100K, because it has crashed all the way and it has retested the 200 weekly moving average. So let me switch this back to 200 weekly moving average. Yeah, so so that's what I'm saying, that so it was 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, when we last retested 200 weekly moving average. So let's be cautious, right? It's not, I'm not trying to like sell everything. I'm not expect this to happen like 100%. It's not that I'm going to sell everything and expect like a war between Russia and Ukraine and Federal Reserve to increase interest rate like within a couple of days or so, and then I'm going to buy it at that time. I'm not going to do that. I still will hold on to my Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but just in case, I'm gonna have some USDC or AUD set aside just in case, because if right, let's say there's a 20%, 30% chance that if there's like some capitulation event happens right now, like we expect it to happen once Bitcoin has gone up above 50,000, but what if it happens earlier, right? And then if Bitcoin comes back to 200 weekly moving average, you're looking at Bitcoin coming all the way back down to like 20K, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen. There's a probability it could happen, right? If that happens, we should be prepared, right? Otherwise, if it's not going to happen, perfect. We will see. We'll see you guys at 52,000, and then all coins will go like crazy. Then we might see a retest to 200 weekly moving average, because there's a likelihood, like every 2 years or so, like given that we had a massive bull run from about like 3,700 from the COVID dump all the way up to 69K, right? And given that Bitcoin price has gone very far from 200 weekly moving average, there's a probability that Bitcoin could come back down to retest 200 weekly moving average, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure. There's a 20% chance. So I'm not going to expect this to happen 100%. I'm going to sell everything and get out of the market. No, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do, I'll have some USDT set aside just in case the market drops. if you see like some unexpected event, and then if Nasdaq drops so much, and then if Nasdaq drags a Bitcoin down with it, and if you see the Dixie dollar goes up so high, there's a probability that Bitcoin even could drop below 30K. If that happens, right, I want to be prepared for it. So this is the message that I want to convey. Thank you for your time. I'll talk to you, probably I'll see you on next Wednesday. Thank you. See ya.